What's going on? What's going on? Welcome back to the channel One Man's Walk. I am your host Gamal, back at you with another one. So what do we have for you today? Well, I got advanced screen tickets to see Morbius last night on Wednesday. And so got some thoughts, figured I'd share them. Let's get to it right after this intro.
Clean your house music. You can clean too.
Welcome back. So like I said, I did get a chance to see Morbius last night. Shout out to GoFobo Screenings, GoFobo Screenings. I constantly get advanced screenings to see movies. This is the first time that I got the opportunity to see a comic book movie for free. So I was very excited. My brother came with me. Shout out to my brother Kashif. Big fan of the channel, so I'm also excited about that. But had a good time, enjoyed it. Before we even get any further, let's do a little housekeeping. If you guys have not already done so, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on your post bell notifications so that way you don't miss any of this amazing content. As you can see behind me, the latest video is up. This is I don't normally do reaction videos like that, but I am a big Chris Rock fan. Will Smith is pretty cool too, but I am a Chris Rock fan. And so I did want to do a quick reaction on what took place the other night at the Oscars. You guys are free to check that out as well. What else is up on the channel? Yeezy 500 Blush will be coming up later this week. We do have up right now the King Crooked and Joel Ortiz, The Rise and Fall of Slaughterhouse. Time to Talk 4, Benny the Butcher is up. Big Life After Death recap. 64 greatest hip hop albums. There's a ton of stuff on there, so feel free to check it out. Hope you guys enjoy it. Now, back to this Morbius. So, they did give us this handy dandy little poster. So they told us to show up. I'll give you the experience and then I'll give my thoughts on the movie. So they told us to show up at 6:30. The movie was allegedly supposed to start at 8, hence allegedly. But they told us to show up at 6:30. We needed to be in our seats at 7:15. Now they have they're doing interviews with the actors as they're showing up on the red carpet. So it's supposed to be like a whole live stream experience. That's cool, but I'm like, all right, it's 8 o'clock. Let's get this movie started. My head kind of hurts already. You guys know I'm diabetic, and so sometimes, I can get a little nauseous, sugar's high or low or whatever, and I'm like, man, let's just get this movie started. I'm gonna tell you right now, without getting into the semantics, the movie didn't start until 8:40. I'm super frustrated. My brother's super frustrated. People in the movie theater frustrated. What is going on here? We're listening to stand up. The guys who I guess are doing the interviews with the cast. One of them is a comedian, I guess, of some sort. I don't know. It felt like how Versus be feeling nowadays. If you're familiar with Versus and Versus used to start where just the two acts came on at the time they said they were going to come on, and they gave us a 20. And now Versus is like a whole production where we have like a DJ battle, and then we have a second DJ battle, and then somebody always has a music video. It's just a bunch of stuff that no one wanted or asked for. And so that's what this felt like. And then even the actors and actresses, it was wild. Leto was in a full female suit with nail polish. He had the heels, a women's business suit with some nail polish. And I was like, what are we doing here, Leto? I guess in Hollywood, that's art. I have no idea. I was super confused with all that going on. And then Tyrese is on, and I don't know what he's mumbling about. And I'm like, when is this movie gonna start? So I'm gonna tell you, I gave you all of that so you understand what my mindset was going into this movie. Where it started off cool, it was a free movie. One that I probably wasn't checking for. I'm telling you honestly, before I saw the movie, I did not see one trailer that made me say I wanted to see it. I do think as well, it's unfortunate that this movie had to come in the midst of, I won't say the real Marvel, but Sony's Marvel had to be in the midst of Spider-Man, which is one of the best Marvel movies ever. Doctor Strange, which is pitting itself to be one of the best Marvel movies ever. And then Moon Knight, which literally just came out yesterday, the same day that my brother and I went to go see Morbius. So all of this is working against, I feel, Morbius. I do want to say this. I thought the movie was pretty good. Pretty good in the sense that I had zero expectations. Pretty good in the sense that I had no idea what Morbius was about. I understood that it was going to be a Sony picture Morbius movie, and it was not a Kevin Feige movie, and so my expectations were obviously going to be different because I'm not expecting the Sony universe to be in the same sentence as the Kevin Feige universe. So I think once you put those two things together, I think you enjoy the movie better. I like that the movie tried to harp on horror a little bit more. I know Doctor Strange was supposed to tap into horror, and then they fired the guy who was going to make it because it looked like it was going to be too scary, and Kevin Feige, I guess, did not want that. And so this did kind of lean into horror. There was definitely some moments where I looked at my brother and I'm like, man, I'm glad I didn't try taking one of the kids to see this. And he was like, come on, man, we saw way worse when we was younger. I said, yeah, but I don't be raising my kids like that. I ain't gonna lie to you. Y'all can judge me if you want. And so I looked and I said, this is a little too scary for some little kids. There were some little kids, very few, but there were a few little kids in there. But the plot was cool. I like how they built him up as an anti-hero. He was not a hero, he was not a villain, he was like an anti-villain because obviously he was trying to control the urge the entire time, and these murders are occurring. This is a spoiler review if I did not say that. And his best friend was the individual, and I mean you could read that right away, that when you really thought about it throughout the entire movie, it never showed us in all the trailers who was the villain. So the moment the opportunity came, I looked at my brother and said, oh, clearly this guy's going to be the villain, because they didn't show us any trailers in which we got an actual villain. This had to be the villain. I do want to say that the villain was bad. Everything about his character was just bad. I don't want to say it was bad acting, but he wasn't a great villain, right? He just wasn't. I thought Leto did a fairly good job. I like the female doctor. I'm gonna have to try to remember her name. I think it's Andrew. But Tyrese was cool. The other guy was alright. But it was... I'm not going into it. I did not go into it with the mentality or the mindset that this was going to be an amazing movie. I thought it was going to be okay at best. And I thought it was pretty good. I liked, again, that they leaned in on the horror aspect, which is something that Disney Marvel has not done thus far. And maybe we'll get that with Moon Knight. Maybe we'll get that with Blade. Maybe we'll get that with Strange. But thus far, I like that. I don't like some of the camera angles they had during the fight scenes, and even at the very beginning as they're moving around like the Batcave and things like that. I didn't like it. And maybe because we were kind of close to the screen, but I didn't like that. I didn't like some of the camera angles. I do like how they tried to make a distinction about the movements with like the bat wave. And I do need to look up on that to see if that's a real thing. The sonics of the bat. It was kind of gross, I'm not gonna lie, how his ears looked when it changed. But I liked his movements. I will say this, and this was not gonna be a long review, just getting my thoughts out. The post-credit scene, I felt, undid all the work the movie had portrayed. Now there's two post-credit scenes. The first one kind of brings Michael Keaton in. It does not do the same scenes that we got, and clearly there were cuts because some of the stuff we saw, like the Spider-Man reference as he walked by that was in earlier trailers, is not in the movie at all, or the post-credit scene. The Michael Keaton post-credit scene is still there, but it's different. It's like they redid the scene because it's definitely different. The first part of it was cool, kind of in line with the Venom and the opening up, and we see how the sky had opened and things like that. But the second one, it felt like it had undone the hard work that Leto had put in to make himself not be the villain. My brother brought up an interesting point. He said in their world, Spider-Man is the villain, and these are really considering themselves all to be good guys, not bad guys. So maybe going with that logic and that theory, then it makes sense, because clearly what they're doing is they're setting up the Sinister Six, or what looks to be something equivalent to that, to go up against Spider-Man. And so that is, I guess I have to see how it plays out, but it just felt like they threw it together an hour before the movie was releasing, and they just threw it in there for the sake of, because of the Spider-Man thing, and that might have been a reshoot and not something that was originally part of the plot or originally part of the process. And so I do have a little gripe with that, but outside of that, I mean, it was cool. Again, I'm happy I saw it the way I saw it, as far as it was like free, it was cool, it was a nice experience, even though it was a little later and 40 minutes late, but it was still cool. But you guys leave your thoughts. Obviously, as this goes up, people will just be seeing it tonight for the first time, but leave your thoughts. What did you think? How did you like it? Did you enjoy it? Was your anticipation high for it? Are you comparing it to the Kevin Feige Marvel movies? Or are you taking it for what it was? I feel like if you take it for what it was, you'll appreciate it more than trying to do it as part of the bigger cinematic universe. But as always, I hope you guys have a wonderful, blessed, productive, stress-free day, weekday, weekend, whenever you're listening, however you're listening. I thank you for listening. Till next time.